And hello, I think we are live. We are indeed. So let me just close this down. I don't want to actually hear myself. So, welcome. My name is Paul Tchaikovsky, and I'm a developer advocate at VMware. I've been doing weekly streams with my buddy JJ from IBM on Thursdays at this time. He has been unavailable, so I have kind of been running off doing my own thing. So, first of all, if you haven't ever been to this channel before, this is the VMware Tanzu Twitch stream. If you're watching this later on YouTube, clearly it's the YouTube. We run a bunch of shows through the week on stream and then archive up to YouTube. So I thought I would just start here and just remind you that if you just go to tanzu.tv, you'll get to this page right here. You can see we have Tanzu Tuesdays, which is kind of our flagship show. We have Code, which is our Spring developer advocates. Basically, get on for an hour, 2 hours. If it's Josh, 6 hours, to just do some live coding, mostly in Spring. So if you are a Spring/Java developer, that is an amazing show to watch. I'm in the middle of editing up Josh's latest one to put on YouTube right now. We also share some time with TGIK, which is Joe Beta and a bunch of those folks. I've co-hosted on it before as well. We also have Tanzu Talk, which is Michael Cote, and he is actually doing like a daily show right now, which is pretty bananas. But there it is. And then we also have Between Chair and Keyboard, which is Nate Shooter's new show. It's kind of an interview style show where he brings in, you know, friends and family of Tanzu and the advocacy team to just do kind of more of a sit down interview kind of thing. More of a conversational than a hard hitting, like journalistic interview. It's usually a lot of fun. And then we have a couple of other things that we put on here every once in a while. Spring One Tour is like a monthly show. We used to actually travel places and do it, but clearly right now we're not traveling, so it is a virtual show. And we have some other stuff, but that's the core of it. So I just wanted to quickly show this in case you have never been here before. Um, Another thing you may have noticed, I'm actually using I did it again. I did it again. I should have switched to this page so you would actually see my screen in bigger detail, but you probably got the gist. Anyways, you may notice I'm actually using a new browser here. So this is the Brave browser, which is, I believe, a fork of Chrome with a heavy focus on security and things like that. So I thought I would give that a go and see if I like it as a browser. I usually use Chrome for work. I've used Chromium and Firefox and other stuff for not work. But I decided I would just give this Brave a try. I am also recently switched to VS Codium, which is basically the completely open source version of VS Code. VS Code is itself open source, but the packages that are delivered are packaged by Microsoft, and they do contain some non-open sourcey things. So there's an open source project, which is VS Codium, which is basically packaging up just the open source bits. So I'm giving that a try out as well. And so what this means is my VS Code is not, well, my VS Codium is not as configured as I would usually have VS Code. So if I'm struggling through a few things, just bear with me. So I mentioned that we would be talking about Ansible, or if I didn't, I'm telling you that now. So we're going to be talking about Ansible, and we're really going to be exploring Ansible as it works with Kubernetes. One of the things I've found as I've been doing large like platform infrastructure work on top of Kubernetes is there's not a lot of good ordered orchestration of Kubernetes resources. And when you think about it, like a lot of folks, when they're deploying software to Kubernetes, they're deploying an app, and it's usually a cloud native app. It's usually fairly stateless, and it's a pod or a deployment, a service, and then maybe like a volume or a config map or a secret. And so there's not a lot to it, and there's not really any orchestration needed. But when you take a step back and you look at the actual platform pieces, you kind of hit this thing where you need to install some like certificates so you can secure your stuff. You need to manage DNS. You need to perhaps install admission controllers and set up CRDs. And some of these things need to be actually done in a specific order. Like if you try and, let's say you're using certificate manager, right? And so certificate manager is an operator, so it has CRDs. And if you try and stand up an Ingress or you try and create a certificate using those CRDs before Cert Manager installed, you'll get some hard failures. And that's not particularly pleasant. So you do need to make sure you have Cert Manager and its CRDs installed before you start requesting certificates. And so that means you need that ordered install and that ordered startup. And so I've done this before with Helm and some of the Helm community stuff like Helm File. And that gives you like a quasi way to do some ordering. But it felt really awkward. Plus I was doing like templates of templates of templates. And it's quite difficult. And then I recently came across some projects that were using Ansible to do similar stuff. And Ansible is really at its heart an orchestration, like I do this, then do this, and then do this. And so it provides that ordering. And the other thing is you can do querying of resources. So if I need to create a certificate and then pull the CA cert out of the secret to use somewhere else, with Ansible, I can do that really easily because I can query the resources after they've been created. So I thought I would spend some time and actually explore this idea a little bit, and then maybe look at using it to deploy some Kubernetes resources. Maybe look at it to deploy some Helm charts. I assume there's a Helm chart module for Helm, and then if I have time, I might even look at like YTT and CAP and see about maybe making sure I can get them to work using the execute. And then if I have time, I might even look at starting to build out a Ansible module for YTT and an Ansible module for CAP. But that's getting ahead of myself a fair bit. So I pre-created some stuff just because I didn't want to spend a bunch of time doing that before I kicked off. So I have kind of an Ansible repo built out. I documented kind of what I was doing. So I created a virtual env, got all my Ansible prerequisites that I knew I would need. And so I'm going to be using that virtual env. And I created a kind cluster. And I've also created a GKE cluster as a backup. So if we look here, I can run kubectx. And you can see I've got 3 contexts. The 2 I'll be using is kind and GKE. But I'll hopefully just be using kind. GKE is a backup in case I hit something that kind can't do. I already got my cluster up, so I can do kubectl get nodes. And you can see I've got 3 workers and my control plane. And I've done that with a kind config I've dumped into my environment directory. And so you can see just setting some versions and creating my nodes. And then one of the workers, I have port mappings going through to it. So on my local box, localhost 80 and localhost 443 will go through to that worker node. And that will allow me to kind of fake my way through a load balancer and allow me to create ingress resources if I get that far. So that's that. Now, I'll be working with roles. So I've created a initial role, and the way I created the role was to just use, where are we making roles? So the Ansible Galaxy command has a way to like create a role from a skeleton role that you can either provide or just use the default one. I've just used the default one. It should be fine. And then I just created a couple of tasks in there, just using the Kate's info module, just to make sure that my connectivity to Kubernetes was working and my Ansible was running. So I've done that as well. And then I've created a site.yaml that's calling that role, and we'll call other roles as I build them out. And of course, that'll happen in order. And then, of course, with Ansible, you also need an inventory. So I've gone ahead and created a default inventory. And so it's just localhost, right? Because like effectively I'm treating a Kubernetes cluster as a host. And so I could be putting my Kubernetes cluster names in there and stuff, but to keep things really simple, like everything's going to be happening locally. So I'm just going to use localhost. And then I've created a group vars all, and I've set my kubectl context in there, right? So that should make sure that, back to my task here, if I have that kubectl context set, it'll use it. Otherwise, it'll omit it. Same with a kubeconfig variable if I have that set. So that's if I have my kubeconfig in a directory that's not the default of like .kube/config. Scuba Dan said he's recently discovered Ghost Browser. Free version is nice, but he's not willing to pay several $100s a year for a damn browser. Handy to be able to sign in to the same site with multiple accounts. Let's have a look at that. Ghost Browser, huh? Looks like some kind of ghost browser. Okay, so this looks like it's focused around productivity. That's an interesting. Oh, okay, I see. You got like workspaces. I think that would be interesting to play with. That's a good one, Scuba Dan. Thank you. All right, cool. Ghost browser. I learned a thing. All right, so with this all in here, um, it created a default. I created an Ansible config. There's a couple of other things I created, but I basically found someone had a default Ansible like playbook skeleton on GitHub, and I just kind of copied that. Now, it has been a long time since I've really done Ansible work, so I sort of vaguely remember how things work, but I'm probably going to be struggling as I work my way through, so bear with me. I am no longer I used to do Ansible all day, every day. Well, not all day, every day, but I used to do Ansible a lot, so I've hopefully got a lot of those muscle memories still there. It might be a little bit dusty. So anyway, I did remember that I can set a default inventory. So that's here. So I don't need to do it like a -I or whatever. Otherwise, I think it's all pretty much defaults. So I can go ahead and run my playbook. Playbook. So I'm running site.yaml. I'm doing c.local. Do I need to do c.local? Let's see. All right, well, that looks to have worked. So it looks like I didn't need c.local. I guess if I had specified other host names, I would have needed to do that. So this is giving me a big dump of output because what I've done in my role is ask for that. So here I did a Kate's info kind of node, and I registered that. Now, one of the things I like to do is temporary variables that I register, I like to prefix with an underscore. And that's just a reminder to me that it's not like a settable global variable. It is very specific to a particular run or a particular play. Yeah. So I'm grabbing that and then I'm just debugging it, right? So it's going to just dump out that full object, and then same for running pods. So let's go ahead and just do this and then run that. So I figure this might be a useful play to have there just at the start to just make sure that connectivity is working before it really digs into doing other stuff. So what I will do is I will set this to when, let me see, when debug tool default false. I believe this is correct, right? So these are basically ginger filters. So I'm basically saying when debug is true, effectively, I want to print this out, and I'm defaulting debug to false. So if it's not set, it'll definitely give me a false result. So now if I rerun this, it should end real quick without really printing out any garbage. Nope. Why has it done that? Oh, it's done that because I've got -bv. So I think I can drop that down one. Nope. Any verbosity is going to do that. Okay. See, it's been a while, so I don't remember any of this stuff. So there we go. So this has worked. And then it skipped this because we don't have debug set. I guess we could change this to actually be, I think you can do verbosity 2. And I think that's another way we could handle that. Yeah, so that works as well. That's probably a little bit cleaner because I don't really need to have a debug thing, but like if I'm setting my verbosity up, I probably do want to see the debug stuff. Although I'm kind of getting that already with any verbosity, so maybe it does make sense to have this, and that way I can have set debug equals true. Is that the way to do it? No, set var. How do I set a variable? See, I told you it's been a while. I don't even remember how to set a variable. Come on. Come on, Ansible. Just tell me. Set variable. All right. Ansible. Set variable. Command line. Extra vars or -e. I was close. Extra vars. All right, so there we go. Because I have debug enabled, it has printed out all that garbage. So that's about what I wanted. Cool. And I'll just leave that commented out in case I ever need to find pods. I can just come back here and grab that. All right, so let me think. Any resource I'm going to install, I'm going to want Ingress. So I should get an Ingress controller. Lately, I have been using Contour Ingress controller. So let's go ahead and install this. We don't want to download the binary. We want to find, what's that going to give me? GitHub. Yeah, so that's probably going to give me a link to the Nope. All right, documentation. That's not upgrading. Is there a quick start overview guide? AWS. Deployment options. Other ways to run Contour. You're hurting me. All right. Contour example. We'll install this for you. Okay, here's the Contour example. Okay, quick start. Here, this is what I wanted. All right, let's have a look at this fella. All right. that looks like it's going to give me what we want. So let's go ahead and create a new role. We'll call it Ingress. Right, created successfully. So now we have Ingress. And then I could stick it in files, but I may need to template. So let's go ahead and stick it in template. So we get -o roles Ingress templates on contour.yaml.j2, I think is the kind of agreed upon extension for Ginger 2, right? We'll figure it out. We'll see. And then contour. Right. And so then I have this fellow right here. And then I can start working on tasks. So I can be, I guess I need to create a template. See, I don't even remember my template. So Ansible module template. I think I just do source and destination, right? And then state, present. Yeah, here we go. Let's just grab this right here. Name. Contour manifest exists. Contour.yaml.j2. Now, this is an interesting one because usually I'd be putting this on a remote server, but in this case, I'm not. And it would be interesting to collect whatever manifests are built for debugging purposes. So can I do, let me see, temp. So I'm guessing the destination, I need to drop back to source and then do temp slash contour.yaml. I don't really care about owner. I don't care about those for now, at least. So now let's drop down to my site.yaml and then do roles slash contour. I'll just comment that fella out for now, just to keep things fast. We don't need debug, equals true. So we're going to go ahead and run it, and I've already done something horribly, horribly wrong. Surely it wasn't that. Roles contour. Oh, roles ingress, right? Because at some point I might want a different ingress controller, so keeping my role a bit more generic is probably a good idea. All right, destination directory does not exist. Does. So maybe, well, this would be much better if I remembered how Ansible works. So maybe it does default to here. So now if I look here, there's my contour.yaml. But I probably want it to be like temp/manifests. But that's fine. This is good enough. Good enough to get us going, right? So that's generating that. So now I need to go to name, ensure contour is deployed. And so now I do Kate's. Let's figure it out. Ansible Kubernetes module. Kate's module. This looks right. Let's see if we have a good default here. Create from file. Let's see what's here. And I don't think I need community.kubernetes. I think it's fine. It's just Kate's. State is present, and our source is that. Okay, so that has run. So now if I do a get ns, we have a namespace project contour. So k-n project contour get all. Here we see it all starting up. Now this load balancer will always remain pending, but I think the important thing is we have the cluster, the node ports are 80 and 443. And so I think that'll make sure that it works. Let's see, Contour is running, Envoy is running. So if I do a curl localhost 80, does that mean it worked, but there's nowhere for it to go? I think that means it's worked, but there's nowhere for it to go. So that is an ingress done. So I guess next we need is some kind of application that's going to use it. What about, before we do that, what about we get Cert Manager installed? Because I bet you we will want to use Cert Manager at some point. So let's look for that. Cert Manager, quick start. And installing with regular manifests. We are, I think our kube version is way higher than that. Yeah, 118 on the server. So there's our, wait, this guy. So this is doing the CRDs and Cert Manager itself. Or we could install it with Helm. Let's have a look at that. So Ansible Helm module. Okay. Helm module. Requirements on host that executes modules. So I might need to do some pip installs. So let's grab this example right here. Let's create a new role. Galaxy roles. Cert manager. And then under tasks, main. All right, so install cert. Sure, cert manager is installed via Helm. We don't need host there. We know what we're doing there. So now let's look back at cert manager. So we have a repo to add. Cert manager. Okay, here's a version. Now, Helm 3 by default doesn't create namespaces. Your cert manager namespace exists. So I guess we're going to do Kate's. Let's have a look back at what we had for Ingress, just a cheat. Kate's state. Oh, yeah. All right, let's go back to the docs. Create Kubernetes, create a namespace right here. Perfect. All right, name is cert manager. That's the default. We want that, and that's a default. So that should make sure we have the namespace, and then this will then ensure it's installed. Good name, cert manager, and then give it a namespace, cert manager. Now, what we might want to do is do cert space cert manager, right? I think. Oh, I guess we'll probably so that'll be cert manager dot namespace in variables. So dot namespace. Oop. Just that bit right there. All right, so that's using a variable that I'm setting in the role. So that's good. And then, of course, down here under site.yaml, roles, cert manager. I'm not sure what the best practices are on underscores or not. See, I did that with an underscore. I did this with a dash. Whatever. I'll use dashes from now on. Dashes for the role name, but underscores for the variables, whatever. Whatever I do, it'll be wrong, so I'll just roll with what I'm doing. Let me see. So here, we're doing that. Let's have a look at our Helm. So Look at this. So the default is installed, but choices are absent, purged, and present. I'm guessing installed is probably whatchamacallit, an alias to present. I was really hoping there'd be a Helm template option to just create the template, to render the template, but that's okay. We'll roll with what we have, and then I just want to double check Helm version. I spelled version wrong, but I do have Helm installed. It's version 3.3.0, so I don't need Tiller or any of that garbage. All right. Why are we mad here? Is this because this is probably because I'm YAML, but it's an Ansible playbook or something along those lines. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Is that going to fix it? Oh, whatevs. Set manager namespace. So I can go ahead and run YAML. Now, interestingly, Ingress there, right? This is great. Well done, Ansible documentation. Ensure set manager is installed via Helm. Now we need our Python modules. All right, so let's have a look at what it said we needed. These two right here. So let's go ahead and add those into here. Just like that. I don't care about versions right now. So we do pip install -r requirements, right? Hopefully it doesn't think it needs to do it all over again. Whoa, let's just do pip install iHelm. Oh, I can grab the version from there. Required for Helm. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. The wheel package is not available. Wait. But then it successfully installs it? It just iHelm super mutes. Alright, well, we'll see if it works. If not, then we'll grpcio grpcio already installed. What version have we got? That version right there. So now let's run our Ansible playbook again. Weird file source. Well, this is some real helpful output. Status code unavailable. What's it failing to connect to? This guy. So what do we need to do here? Charts, jet stack. Oh, interesting. Let's look on the artifact hub then. Cert manager. Repo jet stack. Charts of jet stack. Let's have a look at our task. Source type, repo location, like name, jet stack. If this doesn't work, I'll probably just grab the manifests. Yeah, okay, let's just switch to grabbing the manifests. But I'm actually curious what's happening. Let's comment this out for a second. Cert manager. So we just have Ingress. I'm curious why it's always showing as changed. So the manifest is not showing as changed, but the deployment is. What happens if we do a -vv? Hopefully the Kate's module is smart enough to give me the what changed, like a patch. Whoa. Yay for Kubernetes manifests. Oh, that was way too far. Oh my goodness. Here we go, patch. Change is false. Okay, so we've got results gives me a list, and that's a list of the kube resources. So what if I do this? Come back up to Ingress, tasks main, and then we can do register. Right, and we can do a name, debug resource change, and then we can do with items, resource, resource, results. So now we have a list of resources, and then we can say when item dot changed Google, and then we can say debug item. Right? And then we want to actually maybe do when does that give me an N? What do I do? Right, so that'll, if this is showing as a change, it'll then look at the actual resource results, and if that's changed, it'll perform this debug. So let's run that again, and then make sure we have verbosity 0. Now we can run it without the V's. Ooh, that spit out a bunch. Yeah, okay, so these items were skipped. These items were not skipped. True, and then here's our diff. Oh, is it the like just the managed fields and stuff like that? Ugh. I wonder if there's a thing we can do, like a patch or a diff method, merge type. Strategic merge, updatable usable. Strategic merge, when we use merge, strategic format supported. Well, the merge types will be tried in order. Defaults to strategic merge, then merge. Mutually exclusive with apply. Okay. Apply compares the desired resource definition with previously supplied resource definition, ignoring properties that are automatically generated. That, I think, might be what I want. Apply, yes. Oops. Still seeing a diff. Try one more time. and Ingress contour project. Project contour. So none of these are restarting. Do I just need to say I don't care? Do I maybe I just need to do so let's get rid of that. And then do a change when false. Right? And then comment this all out. So I feel like this is probably not ideal, but I don't want to spend all my time chasing this. It's ensuring it's deployed. Now, what I could do actually is up here, I could turn this into a handler, right? And only run this when this is changed. So let's remember how handlers work. Ansible handler. So Ansible built-in, blah, blah, blah. And state is, so I think what we want is something like that. So ensure. Oh, and then I notify restart. Oh, huh. I didn't copy the handler. What a clown. Let's use the handler. Right. Ensure contour is deployed. Pop this to here. Pull that out. Okay, so oh, this is a playbook. Yeah. All right. So I actually want to put this up here. That, pull this back to here. Right. Exists. So now if I rerun it, it's only going to do it if it changed, but that won't fix it on the cluster if it's been broken on the cluster. So I think that's actually a mistake. So pop back to here. Let's undo some of that nonsense. All right. So I think we'll just do change when false. Get rid of this. Rerun it. All right, that's done. I'm not super thrilled about that, but that's something for us to look at another time, figure out why that's happening. So that's contour not yelling at me. Now I can come back to cert manager, come back to tasks. So I'm not going to use Helm. Let's let's come back to, did I? Oh, here it is. So I want this fella right here. No, I wanna grab this. Shows that manager is installed by. So where are we? Where's my wget? Cert manager. Cert manager. Right. And so now I can just take what I have here and stick it in here. Contour with cert manager. Right. And I can get rid of the namespace here. Or actually, maybe I should leave that and come to my template. Namespace. Cert manager. Space. Space. We'll try this. I can always undo this if it seems to be busted. Default tasks main. Cert manager, cert manager. Cert manager namespace exists. Oh, I killed that off. So I can grab that and redo all of this. Paste that in. So make sure the namespace exists, and I should be doing the same, I guess, with the Ingress, but that's for another time. So cert manager, change when. Fix it up in site.yaml. All right, so now I do a K, get NS, so it's cert manager, KN cert manager, get all, and there's cert manager installed and running. Right. So now the other thing we need with cert manager is an issuer or a cluster issuer. and then to call Let's Encrypt or whatever to create certificates. I have a blog post on doing certificates with Let's Encrypt, with not Let's Encrypt, with Cert Manager, with just its own CA. Multiple certificates from the same self-signed CA with Cert Manager. I think this is what I want. So that's deploying it, blah, 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 create namespace. All right, so here we go right here. So this is an issuer that is going to create a self-signed, that will create self-signed certificates, right? Let's go ahead and create a, under Cert Manager templates, YAML.j2. Now I want this to be a cluster issuer. And then, that's right, I'm starting to remember how this works. So I then have a certificate, and I need to give that a better name, CA. We don't want those. Is say is true. Issuer ref is self-signed issuer. It's true. So that's going to give us a CA key pair that we can then sign other certificates with. And then we need a cluster issuer that uses that. Pull that out. Right, so it's using the CA from the secret that's created here, CATLS. And this is, again, it's going to be a cluster issuer. I need to do something here that like type cluster issuer. Because that's not, so issuers are namespaced, whereas cluster issuers are not. And I don't want to fight namespaces. So cert manager, cluster issuer, cluster issuers. Yeah, just kind cluster issuer. That's easy enough. Close. So that will give us a certificate. And let me think. Do I need... I don't need to worry about certificates right now. Now what I could do is I could allow you to provide the CA cert and key, and then like if this whole section on it, and if you provide those, it would skip these and then create a just a secret containing a CA cert, CA key, and that would allow you to provide your own CA. But I don't really care about that right now. So I think this will do what we need. So if I come back to tasks, I'll then ensure cluster issuer manifest exists. Right, so that'll take care of that. And I didn't create any extra variables. I could have. Um, I could also have variables to also create like the prod and staging issuers, but they also require an email and some other stuff. So I think I'm better off just avoiding those and sticking with CAs, local CAs. I broke my YAMLs. Ensure class issuers manifest exists. Oh look, thanks for nothing, text editor. All right, cert manager, class issuers is deployed and fail. Namespace is required for certificate. Uh-huh. Well, that's easy. That's namespace. Cert manager namespace. Is that the only one that? Yeah, type of certificate. Nice work. Wait, are we on a newer? How are our cert manager? It's still okay. V1 Alpha 2, V1 Alpha 2. So we're still good there. So that should apply now. My favorite part of using tools like Ansible is kind of having to roll through all of these again. Now, there's a few things we can do to speed that up. For instance, I could do this. Roles. Does that work, first of all? Yeah. With that, I can then do tags, Ingress, tags, cert manager, do tags, cert manager. And see, it's just going straight to cert manager and not doing Ingress. So that's one way we can do that. The other thing we can do is something like this: when Ingress enabled default true. Cool. And then cert manager. And the reason we doing this default is because it doesn't actually load these variables until it starts running it, and so these don't exist yet. So if I had put defaults in the roles, it wouldn't be reading them. But if I was to set it in my inventory or set it like on the run, it would be there. But if it's not set in any of those places, that variable doesn't exist, and therefore it would fail. So putting this default in should ensure that it does that. Should ensure that if it's not there, I pick a default, and as the person writing the site.yaml, I can kind of pick whether it should be like a core thing or a not core thing, and that would depend if it's true or not. And now the other thing I want to do is change my ordering, because often I may want to get a certificate before I get an Ingress. I kind of just ran this. I don't need to run it again, but let's have a look at our namespaces. Insert manager, get all, get secrets. So you can see there I have a, no, that's not it. Is this it? Secret. Insert manager, C7. Oh my goodness. YAML, what's the deal with this fella? So this looks like a temporary secret while it's creating the certs. So let's do a kget certificate. Let's just switch to that namespace. Kget certificate. So that says it's not ready. Kget. Let's come back to our cluster issuers. Get cluster issuers. Okay, so our self-signed issuer is true, right? And then I try and create a certificate using that. Self-signed issuer, cluster issuer is true. You know what? I don't want this. Oh no, that's fine. So namespace is cert manager. That's right. Oh, this is looking at the actual deployed. Let's make sure I'm looking at the template. Avoid screw ups. But so still. So we have a self-signed issuer. And that is not namespaced because it's cluster issuer. Then we're creating a certificate. And we're calling a certificate CA. Putting in the namespace. Secret name is CATLS. Common name is CA. Is a CA. And we're using the self-signed issuer that is a cluster issuer. Get certificate requests. You do it just describe your request CA. Referenced issuer not found. Issuer cert manager. Self-signed issuer found. I wonder if that's, did I run this once and not? See, now this is where I can do delete -f temp and cluster issuers and clean that up. So now certificate requests. So that's cleaned up. And then let's actually look at what was deployed. So cluster issuer self-signed. Sure, self-signed, namespace. Interesting. Is there... Well, see, that's maybe not the release of Cert Manager I'm using. Nope. Let's get to the latest docs. Cluster issuer. What version of wget? 102. Version 1. Okay, so we have V1 API resources of all of these. So we can go ahead and do this. No, not there. I'm doing it again. V1, V1, V1. Tutorials. Let's just have a look at this fella here. Issuer, let's encrypt. And certificate, issuer ref. See, this looks okay. Okay, so okay, get in the cert manager, get cluster issuer. So my self-signed issuer is there, and then k get certificate, certificate request, k describe certificate ca, k get certificate request. Oop. Describe that. K get issuer. It's not using my type here. Okay, so this should be easy to debug. Cluster issuer. Side issues. I don't want the change log. That search is just all right. API reference certificate. Spec, certificate spec, status. Cluster issuer config. CA. So that's fine. Certificate. Private key, key usage, object reference, issuer ref. If the kind field. What a clown. What a clown. So the issue is I had kind there instead of type. Is that the only place that might be an issue? Yeah. Okay. So now we can do a get certificate. And now that is ready. And so now the cluster issuer is probably ready. Self-signed issuer. All right. Oh, CA issuer is not ready. Let's look at CA issuer. CA issuer. Secret. Okay. That does exist now. Is this going to retry in a little bit? I think so. We can look at our get pods, master, key manager, 6. Aha, there we go. Gone from false to true. So we can do a get cluster issuers. And there we go. So we are ready. So we can now do self-signed certificates in a reliable way with a known CA. So if we do kget secret, CA TLS dash O JSON AQ data. So you can see we have TLS key and TLS cert and then CA cert. And I think these two CA cert and TLS cert will match because it is the CA cert for the CA is the TLS cert. So if I ever need to configure anything to trust, I have access to this secret here, which means I could actually register that in Ansible. But also if I create any certificates based on this, they'll get this CA cert in there. So I should be able to use that in most places. Right. Now I guess we need to install an app. Let me think about what we're going to have. Whatever we install is going to have some sort of DNS. So why don't I go ahead and have a FQDN Ingress. Domain. Let's do zip.io. and actually know it's going to be that, right? And I'll just make sure I can look that up. Host.io, yes. And then for Ingress here, let's look at the job search and job search. Job. Contour search and override. Namespace, metadata, user account. Is it putting this in a secret? Project contour, okay, secrets. Yeah, okay, so it's creating certs there and there. And I guess those will be like a default certificate if there isn't one provided, which there isn't. And that's okay. Because when I create new ingresses, I will provide the appropriate annotations or provide a certificate request. So now let's think about what we want to do next. We need some kind of web service. So let's go to Artifact Hub. Any interesting Spring apps? No. Are you really going to make me do WordPress? Let's not. Let's do something super interesting. What about Hub? Right. Let's use the Bitnami Harbor. So let me think about what we're going to do. Helm repo list. Yeah, Helm repo update. So what we can do is create a new role for Harbor. Galaxy roles. Harbor. Roles. Templates. Helm template. Bitnami Harbor. Let's just make sure that works. Yes, that works. So we could do this. Harbor.yaml.j2. And that'll give us hopefully a decent go at some templates. But I bet there are some helpers in here. that we will want to set. TLS enabled existing secret. So we'll want to do set to be TLS. There's also notary. Why don't I figure this out in here? Right. Set. Dash TLS. Service ports, we don't care about those. We don't care about those. Ingress enabled. We want set to true. Set ingress enabled true. And then ingress hosts core and ingress hosts. This to be Carver dot 127.1. Be a little bit cheeky here, because I'll actually want to have that templated out. And then notary. Call it that, because there might be a few things we want to change. VN. Let's set that to be false. Sys false. I want these to be equals. All right. Persistence is off now. We don't care about that. I don't think we care about any of this. But we do need ingress annotations. Is it ingress dot annotations? Because we need to use annotations that will set up. Where is Cert Manager? I think under tutorials, ingresses, got all that. Ingress. Gotcha. Stages. Yeah, cluster issuer. Oh, that guy right there. And I'm probably wanting to do this, right? Something like that. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Cannot do that. Cannot overwrite table with non-table for annotations. It wants a list. All right, I'm gonna pull this guy out and add that myself later. Just for the sake of getting it done. All right. Discard that. All right. So now I'm at roles, Arbor, templates over here. Oh, I need to fix up release name. With right, and then I want to find QDN. .fqdn, and I want to replace that with Ingress domain, which will be dot ingress domain. Interesting with the different, when they're writing the templates, obviously they put strings around this one, not strings around that one. So the rules look good. What was the other thing I had to do? I know my ingress here. I need to add that annotation. Like cert manager annotation. Yeah. Yeah. Cluster dash issuer. So, so that's for the first ingress, and this is for the second ingress. So I think that's taking care of that. And then let's grab this right here. tasks. Manager. And of course, this should actually be dot namespace. Would our namespace here be? No. Whoops. So I was in the project contour namespace when I ran that command. And I didn't specify a -n, so it's used that as our namespace. That's okay, we can do this. Namespace. Like so. It should solve that. We need our defaults harbor.namespace. Is harbor. Now somewhere I should be doing like some default usernames and passwords and some other stuff and putting those in the template. But again, for now, I think we're trying to keep things simple. All right, so ensure harbor exists, render the template, ensure it's deployed. Here's my template. And I think I added the annotations for the Ingress so that we'll get both the Ingress working and we'll get Cert Manager creating certificates for it. So let's go ahead and do our, we need to add it to site.yaml. Name roles. Harbor is enabled, default is true. Just keep that a bit cleaner. So I can now do a Ansible Playbook tags harbor. Make sure I'm in the directory, run it again. And we are bad at, yeah. So you need quotes around that. So that's, where was it? Here. So if you're putting variables into tasks like this, you need quotes around them. That's something I do every other time. Now, currently there's no explicit requirement or relationship between Harbor and Ingress. But obviously, whoa. Whoa, who did that? Namespace is required for secret. So again, we can pop down to our rendered templates here. Go to, all right, so I think let's find out Ingress. I think I need to regenerate this and use the -n. So let's grab that because that was the one thing I needed to fix. Home template. Make sure we put it in the right place. So those roles, the templates, stick it anywhere here. It's fine. Interesting. So not all of their resources are creating namespace. So that wasn't my problem. Can I get back to where I had Ingress? All right. So let's just are we looking at the generated one again? Yeah, we are. But this is still the case here. Interesting. So some of their stuff has namespaced. And some of it hasn't. So let's come back to here. So there's a bunch of stuff that doesn't have a namespace. Can we do this? Yeah, that'll probably do. Not ideal. Okay, get NS, but we can work with it. So NS harbor, get all. Right. So there's our various apps and stuff. Okay, get certificate. So here we have certificate requests happening because of Ingress. Okay, get Ingress. And they have the right hosts there. So that is a good sign. Okay, get certificate. And they're both already created. Get pods. Claire is broken. Get pod. I'm not too concerned about Claire. Because Harbor actually doesn't want to use Claire anymore. It wants to use Trivy. So we can probably try and Claire. So if we look for this, last Claire thing. So we don't really want Claire here anyway. So let's go ahead and rerun our Ansible playbook. So I think maybe this is where having Ansible do the diff rather than Kubernetes might help, because this is, I think, going to see, now we don't know that it changed because we had to do that change when all right, so that'll be an issue. That'll be an issue, but that might be because other stuff's still coming up. Waiting on quarter come up. Oh. It's what we can do is hit this here. Right at the top, do something like this. Right, just oh, really? Just so if we ever need to regenerate, we know what we did. So why is it trying to do that lookup? But when I search for, it's not there at all. We come to over here. That's very odd. Okay, get RS. Okay, get stateful. Okay. So I think we might be doing a k delete dash f temp harbor. Clean it all out. Try again. So it's all terminating out. We can do a cuddle. We can kind of watch as it disappears. So I think Claire is all that's left. I don't care about Claire, so we can go ahead and rerun Ansible. I really want to wrap up soon, so hopefully this starts to run a bit smoother. All right, so now we do a kget pods. We can see stuff trying to start up again. So let's do this guy. Why? How is that a... Where is that being set? It's literally not in the manifests. I mean, maybe I just need to regenerate with the release name set. Let's release name. the job service. There's our Redis pool. What's our error here? Of a registry, Redis. Child Museum. Job service. Registry. Other charts for okay. For core deployment. So we're basically looking for where it's configuring the Redis lookups. Not there. Volume mounts. So config app.key. Secret Redis URL. Oh, What a nightmare. All right, so it's using a secret, which means it is a base 64 encoded, which is when I did that search and replace, it failed. So let's come back up here and let's make this better. Ingress. Is it Ingress domain? Yeah, Ingress domain. I still have QDN, keep it simpler. All right. So now I can pop back down to oh my goodness. Got too many folders and stuff open now. Open editors. All right, this fellow right here. Okay, and then name, blah, namespace, blah. Do this, namespace. Let's try this out. Ooh. Quotes. Thank you very much. We don't do dash name anymore. We just literally give it. I'll get there. And then let's grab that because it's thinking that's the name. So we'll fix that. That. I know we'll get there eventually. Yeah, it didn't like that. So namespace. FQDN, FQDN. Right. We need this fella right here. Where's our harbor here? Templates. So we want. What? No. Oh, huh. Roles, harbor. And that removed those comments. So I'll put them somewhere a bit safer next time. So first of all, we want a namespace. Oh, we do care about caps in this case. And FQDN. FQDN. Ingress. Ingress. Adaptation. This. Cluster dash issuer. Annotation. Cluster issuer. And then under tasks, let's grab so we remember to stick it here. Roles. Okay, so now we can rerun playbook. Oh, FQDN is undefined. Where have we gone? Harbor HHH. FQDN. FQDN because caps matters. Uh-oh. And now we still have FQDN is undefined. Ansible undefined variable FQDN. I didn't save it. All right. I think we're on the right track now. We're redeploying it. I don't think I deleted it, so we'll see if it actually picks up the changes and does the right thing. Looks like we got new container creatings happening. That's going to be kind of messy. because I changed the release name. Some of these names have changed like this. So I'm going to go ahead and ns default, delete ns harbor. Hopefully this wasn't a mistake. Oakley dokily, we're taking our time to delete the namespace. I guess there are a bunch of resources running in there, and some of those are painful resources because, oh, there we go. Because they're stateful sets and stuff, and they can end up taking a while. But they're all cleaned out now, so we can rerun this. It'll recreate the namespace and redeploy stuff, and it'll be less hectic. So ns harbor k get all. Right, so watch kuctl get pods. Hopefully we'll watch stuff come up. I guess core was giving us those errors before, so we can just watch those logs. Failed to connect to Harbor SQL, but I think that's okay because it was still coming up. It looks like it's coming up now. Harbor core is up. Everything but job service is up. That's probably because it's reliant on a bunch of stuff. So k get pods, k get certificates, k get Ingress. So let's go ahead and see if we can access this. Okay, that looks like a yes. Certificate authority is invalid. I can go ahead and proceed. Admin, and I think Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. I wonder if it creates it as a random string. By the way, it'll be in a secret. Harbor core Harbor get secret dash YAML. Getter. Secret key. That's easy. Let's come to, where were we? Here. Password. Admin password. Admin password. So random 10 character long alphanumeric string. Just need to figure out what that password is. Okay, get secret dash YAML. Registry credential password. Echo that to base 64 decode. Nuh-uh. Yeah, it's a registry password, not the user password. Harbor admin password. I look straight past it. Oh, so with these, I should be putting a space in front so that I end up in my history. That looks more like a random 10-character password to me. So we stick that there, hit the login button, and we're in. Now it's saying we're not secure here because our certificate is invalid, but Harbor does give you a, I think if you look at the register, a particular project, you can get your registry certificate. And so you can add that to your browser or whatever and trust it, and you'll not have that error. Or we could be using prod let's encrypt as well, but we're on kind, so we're not doing that. So, okay, I think this is probably a good place to call it quits. I was very optimistic about what I would get through. I didn't get through. I thought I would be able to do some stuff with YTT and CAP, but I didn't get anywhere near that way. So let's have a think about what I might do from here. So you can see I did a lot of copying and pasting between these tasks, right? Because I'm effectively running these three things at least once on every role. So what I could do is I could do this Galaxy and it roles common manifest. It's apply. Right, and so now I could do this under common tasks main. So this is namespace. Source, and of course these need quotes around them. Template manifest. And then name. These should all have quotes around them just to be friendly. Quote. Quote. And then name. Name. And then in, say, Harbor, I can do this. Sure, Harbor. Use this cluster. And then import roles. Import roles. Import role into a play. Import role and then name. And so this is common takes apply. And then vars namespace namespace and then template equals, and then we did manifest, and then we did name. So this should actually pop up here just for ordering. So Harbor, and then my template is this, and my manifest is this. So now I can crush this. And I think this will work. So I'm basically calling this common role. And so that will ensure the namespace exists. It will render the template, and then it will deploy the template. If I rerun this, it should pop through real quick. Playbook, come on, playbook. Because although it's now using the common role, it's import vars. Come on, import role. They pop back to there. Right? Oh boy. What went wrong there? Namespace. Oh. Huh. I probably pulled it from one of the other ones. Yeah. Namespace. Namespace. Variable using reserved name. So we need to fix that. Oh boy. Description. Sure, whatever. As long as it's not name. So come back to Harbor templates. This is now description. Pop that down there. And then we can also do that. Repo dash VV. Here I was thinking I was wrapping up, and then I had a thought. Okay, so that's ensuring it exists, and that is dumping it. I have a look at these results again. Oh, I hate this. So much YAML. So much YAML. Yeah, I thought I might have a way to look at these, but they're still saying, like, some of them are still showing this changed. Anyways, all right. Well, that's a thing that I might need to look at later. So now instead of my roles having all that stuff, I can do this. If I have multiple stuff, I can use include role rather than import role, and then I can use like with items and have like a list of stuff. import role and include role are a little bit different in how they're used in Ansible. Generally speaking, you want to use import role unless you need include for doing things like iteration, just because it affects the ordering in which it processes stuff. But I feel like this is a good place to end. I got through a fair bit. Yeah, so let's call it quits. And maybe next time I will look at the YTT stuff that I talked about. So if you were watching any of this, if you stuck around, thank you so much. Otherwise, I'll see you some other time. Bye.